So there's a publicly traded company out there making a move so big, it's completely changing its business model and, kind of shaking up the entire crypto market. That company is BitMine. And today, we're going to break down their massive new bet on Ethereum and what it could mean for their stock, BMNR. Everything really kicks off with this one number, $2.52 billion. That's the value of the Ethereum that BitMine has now locked up, or staked. And look, to be clear, this isn't just them tweaking their portfolio a bit. No, this is a complete 180-degree pivot that totally redefines the company. So you gotta ask yourself, right? When a public company decides to lock up over $2.5 billion in a, let's face it, pretty volatile asset, what does that actually mean for its stock price? That's exactly what we're here to figure out. All right, first things first, let's talk about the market's reaction. Because you know how it is in the world of trading. Investors, they do not wait around. The response to what BitMine did was pretty much immediate. And wow, you can see a really clear cause and effect here. The second that news dropped about its bigger ETH holdings, BMNR shares popped about 3%. That's a pretty direct signal from the market, basically saying, hey, we like this new crypto-heavy strategy. And this wasn't just some one-off fluke either. It seems like every time BitMine even whispers about more staking, the trading volume for their stock just explodes. It's actually become one of the most actively traded stocks in the entire US market. All of it is being driven by these moves in crypto. So, what's all the fuss about? Why is everyone so excited? Well, it's because this strategy goes way deeper than just buying up more crypto. It marks this fundamental shift in how BitMine operates, from just holding an asset to making that asset work for them. Okay, before we get any deeper, let's just quickly nail down what staking actually is. The easiest way to think about it is like this. Instead of just letting your crypto sit around in a digital wallet, you lock it up to help keep the network secure. And for doing that, you earn rewards. It's really the difference between stuffing cash under your mattress and putting it in a high-yield savings account. One just sits there, the other is actively earning you money. And this right here is the heart of the whole strategic shift. The old BitMine, its value was basically just tied to whatever the price of Ethereum was doing that day. But the new BitMine, it's a hybrid. Sure, its value is still connected to ETH's price, but now it's got a whole second engine firing, the yield it earns from all that staking. And that second engine, man, it is incredibly powerful. Analysts are estimating that once BitMine's new validator network is totally up and running, this staking strategy could pull in around $374 million every single year. We're not talking about just sitting on an asset anymore. This turns BitMine into a full-blown revenue-generating machine. And you might be thinking, okay, this is just a quick cash grab. But no, this move is a really calculated piece of a much bigger puzzle, a grand vision for the company's future and its place in the whole crypto world. You can really break this whole game plan down into 4 key pieces. First, boom, it creates a brand new income stream. Second, it instantly makes BitMine one of the most powerful corporate players in the entire Ethereum ecosystem. Third, by locking up so much ETH, it actually takes it off the market, which could help keep the price stable. And finally, and this might be the most important part, it completely changes the story they can tell investors. And don't just take my word for it. An analyst over at A-Invest put it perfectly. They said this shifts BitMine from being just a net asset value play, basically just worth whatever it owns, to a yield plus growth hybrid. This new profile is way more attractive to the big players, the traditional institutional investors, who want to see real earnings, not just hope an asset goes up in value. But hey, let's be real. A bet this huge, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. It definitely comes with some serious risks. So let's take a look at the potential bumps in the road and weigh them against the opportunities that have investors so excited. On the risk side, you've got the classic crypto volatility. Prices can swing like crazy. Plus, staking rewards aren't always guaranteed to be the same. And there have been some controversial moves by the company. But on the other side, the potential upsides are massive. There's the upcoming launch of their Maven validator network, which is the engine that's going to run this whole thing, plans for even more staking, and some key shareholder votes that could really send the stock flying. Okay, so when you put it all on the scale, the strategy, the market's reaction, the risks, the rewards, what's the bottom line here for an investor in BMNR? When you really break it all down, things are looking pretty positive. The company's fate is now tied even tighter to ETH's price, which, hey, if you're bullish on Ethereum, that's a good thing. The new revenue potential, investor feelings, and just general trading interest are all clear positives.
Really, the only question mark is short-term volatility, which can be driven by news, but so far, even that seems to be working in the stock's favor.
And all of this leaves us with one final, really fascinating question to chew on. Is BitMine trying to build the Berkshire Hathaway of crypto? A huge, diversified, income-generating powerhouse? Or is this whole thing just the single biggest, most all-in bet ever made on the future of one cryptocurrency? The answer, well, it's not just going to define a stock. It could literally define a whole new way of investing in this new digital age.